What's up, guys? Checking in. How is it going? I don't mean how's it going as a greeting. I mean, how's it going? How you doing? Are you aware of your breathing? Are you just chilling? Are you working? Are you cutting the grass? Weather's changing. I got a big old reminder that my brain does something funky right around the end of September, early October, where I was in the middle of recording an episode, and I don't know what it was. I just mid episode, I just stopped and I said, "Fuck this. I don't want to do this." And I just had this like usually what happens towards the end of summer, beginning of fall, my baseline for like happiness and joy and contentment, it lowers like 5 points. And that's fine. Some call it seasonal depression. I just call it that's fine. And usually it's like this gradual thing where like maybe the first cool crisp day sets off an alert, and then it's a progressive kind of downswing from there. But whatever. And then the same when it becomes like springtime, summer, it goes up a little bit. And that's like baseline. And then after a week you get used to your new baseline. That's just what you are. And it just kind of oscillates. Well, I swear to God that it all happened and I have the footage. So maybe one day I'll release that footage of literally my seasonal depression happening all at the same time. It's like in The Day After Tomorrow when global warming chases them into a room. It's like my baseline for joy just crashed, and I was just like, and I just had like a really bad 36 hours. The whole day I just sucked. I found no joy in anything, and then it just whatever. But I'm kind of snapping out of it now, and the reason why I stopped the podcast, I think I set a standard for myself last week where like, I cut out a few clips from it. I'm going to try to get back to that. And like, I was very animated and I was fun and I was being silly. And I was just like, I don't feel animated or fun or silly this week. How am I going to do that when I don't feel that way? And then I crash. I'm like, I tried to like put on this front, like I'm silly, and I just didn't feel like it. And so I just been doing a lot of thinking over the past like 2 days, and been doing a lot of thinking and getting my hair cut. Usually I ask for the past like 6 months, I've been asking for the Bradley Cooper, and they've been giving me the Kim Jong-un. But I went with, hey, give me the Ryan Reynolds so they can give me the John Cena. And no, it's okay. I get my haircut at a place called Arcade Cuts for children, and Mystery Mod. I call him Mystery Mod because I usually go in there with my kid, but I go in there by myself too. And I go in and there's never anybody in there, and I sit in my red race car and I show him the same picture of Ryan Reynolds that I do every single time, and maybe I'll throw up the image on the screen. If you're looking at if you're looking at the camera, I'm holding the picture up, but maybe I'll flash it up on the screen. And I describe it. I go, yeah, just kind of like clip me on the top, and then buzz me around the ears, and then clean up my neck, whatever. And Mystery Mod, I swear to God, he knows one phrase in English, and that's shut on sides. So I describe the whole haircut. I'm like, yeah, clippers on the sides, tighten up my sideburns, scissors on top, go, I don't know how many inches. And he goes, taps me on the head, short on sides. Okay. Short on sides, I guess, but he usually does a good job. And so I was sad getting a haircut, and thankfully Mystery Mod doesn't talk to me. It's the best barber. Don't talk. But if you're going to talk, just don't. So I had this thought. I've been doing like a lot of thinking, and like, it was bad. Like I haven't been this sad since probably March for no reason whatsoever. And I was like, well, I can't do a podcast and pretend to be happy and just animated and fun and like, hey, I'm going to call everybody fart faces to their face this week. And then I'm just like, ah. And I was like, okay. And this thought occurred to me. I'm like, but can I just do a podcast sad? How good can I be sad? And that's where I'm coming from today. And I had a little visit to Dr. Eckhart Tolle, and I was reminded that the breath, that's going to be my anchor today. And can I feel like the little bit of life energy in my hands and my feet? Yes, okay, I can. As long as I can do those things, as long as I'm aware of my breath, that'll be my hook for this episode. Checking in with a listener. Are you aware of your breathing? Good. Then you're meditating. And if you can remain aware of your breathing for 5 seconds, you just meditated for 5 seconds. Congratulations. And if you can be aware of your breathing for this whole entire podcast episode, you reach a status of Zen Buddha that I aspire to get to. But I had a couple of talking points here. And the first one is a news headline that I came across. And it said, Trump wants to stop Benjamin Netanyahu from annexing the West Bank. And I said, all right, I'm going to deep dive this one. The people need to know what's going on in Israel. So I deep dove it, and you're not going to believe what I found. Here's what I found. So Netanyahu, he wants to annex the West Bank, right? Okay. I'll bet that you didn't know that the West Bank is not a bank, like for money. I did a deep dive on this, and I learned that him wanting to annex the West Bank is referring to the bank of a river, and he wants to annex it. He wants it. It's like kids on a playground. He wants it for himself. And I'll bet you also didn't know that it's the West Bank of the Jordan River. And now you're like, fucking Michael Jordan has his own river? And you'd be wrong. And that's why you come here to the Skunk Box podcast to get like the deep dive on what's really going on. They don't want you to know that when Netanyahu wants to annex the West Bank, it's not like a big bank where they keep all of the money. And I know, I was red-pilled with this too. I did a deep dive, and I'm like, okay, West Bank. And of course, like so I didn't think like this. You probably did, because you probably associated Israel and bank together because, yeah, I didn't do that. So I was like, okay, so like a credit union is like a small bank. Bank of America or Chase is like a probably mid-size, like bigger bank. And then the West Bank must be where they keep all of the money, right? Because like a kid, like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm depositing money into this bank. Like, you're just holding my money for me. So when I pull out $20 from my bank account, that's the same $20 bill I gave you, right? And in the West Bank, they just keep everybody's money there. So sorry to shatter the myth of you thinking that they wanted to annex a lot of money. No, that's why I just dispel myths. And I don't want to get too political again. Last week, I wanted to retract something that I said. I said that liberals and I said that conservatives are fart faces. But I didn't mean it. I didn't mean that. I meant specifically the media fart faces. So I am not into name calling. And I know that's like a serious fart face, fuck. But the fact of the matter is, I have a lot of good friends that lean liberal. And I have a lot of good friends that lean conservative. And remember, let me remind you, I'm just a notebook guy. I don't have a stake in the game or a dog in the fight. But I thought it would be a cool exercise, and I was wrong. But I reached out to a bunch of my liberal friends, and this is the text I sent. And I did the same with my conservative friends. I said, doing a segment on my podcast today, I'm reaching out to my closest pals that tend to lean liberal. Or no, let me rephrase. To tend to lean conservative. I'm doing the same for my closest pals that lean liberal. This isn't a gotcha or anything like that. It's a push for unity, even if it's a tiny drop in the ocean. Forget about the media and news and Trump and Biden and all that. Just think about all the people that you know personally that lean liberal. What's the best common quality or character trait in those folks? So, of course, I sent, to like 5. I'm not going to give you the number. 5 or 10 of my liberal friends I sent that to. Basically asking, hey, think of all the like friends and family you have that are different politically. Do they have like a common character trait or quality that you think is good? And I sent a 5 to 10 to conservatives. I said, hey, what do you think? And I asked this question verbally to my wife. And I'm not going to tell you which way she leans. But she just, let me put it this way. Get you a woman that will tell you when you have bad ideas. Get you a woman that like won't even fake that it is a good idea at all. So I sent this out, and I did get some responses. So basically, it's going to be on me to give you one of the strongest character traits that I notice in my liberal friends and one of the character traits that I notice in my conservative friends. Because the responses that I got, and I compiled a list of these responses, and I was driving towards unity, but here, liberals, this is conservative people. Liberals are good at being gay, says someone who will remain anonymous. And this, conservatives are good at racism. Okay? This was really funny. Liberals are good at lying. Conservatives are good liars. Liberals are great at defunding the police. The conservatives are great at telling women what to do. So I then sent a follow-up text that said, abort. This was a terrible idea. This has gone terribly wrong. Disregard that question. And there is no hope, but maybe that's good. So I'm all right. All of my liberal friends and anyone I can think of, art. Dude, you tell a liberal friend that you are going to pursue a creative pursuit, and they're all about it, dude. They're like asking questions. They're like, oh, that's cool. I encourage you to do this. That's awesome. And then when I was, I dabbled in acting a little bit. I wasn't any good. I'm okay. But I was like, always encouraged, like at the Genetti's Little Theater in downtown Northville, all the people are like, oh, come, let's just play. Let's be silly. So it's like that childhood need to like create and be, kind of creative. And imagine, and this isn't a shot at the other side, but it's like, imagine if we only had conservative people creating movies and TV and music. Dude, you'd be stuck with Yellowstone and Kid Rock, like post 2006 Kid Rock. That's all you get. And I mean, I'm not knocking Yellowstone. It's a good show. Kid Rock, in my opinion, has a handful of pretty good tunes. I sing Sweet Home Alabama all summer. So the arts. Okay, now I want to compliment the people that I know that tend to be conservative. And this one's, I guess, a little more specific. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it, but I was just like, okay, you think conservative. A lot of times you think Christian, Jesus, the big Jesus folk. And in the same way that, like, if you ever met a Mormon that's like all in, okay, forget Mormons. Jesus, like the Jesus, they have okay. So the people who are like all about the Jesus have like a self-assuredness that they're like, it's like they're not like all full of like pills and like I need all these pills to make it through the day, and I'm like constantly anxious or depressed. Like, yo, if they had like a shot of Jesus. And I'd like the whole like accepting Jesus into your heart thing. What do you expect from me? I'm sad. This is the best I got. Are you breathing? What I like to do when I'm breathing is I like to do a big inhale for 4 counts. So, and then a big inhale through the nose, and then an exhale out of my mouth for 8. Through thinly pursed lips, like you're kind of blowing out birthday candles. So like, let me demonstrate the inhale again through the nose and then out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Okay. Now I'm back. I'm here again. I'm not so floaty in my brainy. Okay, so one more thing on politics. I did watch a Bernie Sanders video recently that got me jacked up. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 Americas. And forget about the Democrat, Republican. Forget about Donald Trump. Forget about the media. The 2 Americas. We have a bigger wealth gap than ever before. The 3 richest Americans, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos, have a combined wealth of greater than the bottom 73%. And he goes on and on about their super yachts and their bunkers and their massive mansions and all this stuff. And I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like, yeah, dude! 2 Americas. And then I said, what are we going to do about it, Bernie? And he goes, I need your help. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. He's like, we must stop this. I'm like, yeah, how? And he's like, goodbye. I'm like, man, I was so riled up. I was like, how are we going to take down Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg? We need like 90% of the country to take those guys down. Let's do it. So my name, you're not going to get transition material this week. I was talking about Bernie Sanders. Now I'm talking about my first name, which is Chris. Pretty common name, I would say. But apparently, if you work at a restaurant and you do takeout orders, my name is difficult for all. So let me give you an example. I often call to this like Plato's Coney Island up the street, and it's like a bi-weekly thing. They should know me by now. And I say, can I get 2, large Greek salads, chicken, whatever, no feta dressing on side? Shotanside? Shotanside. Okay. And they say, okay, can I get a name for the order? And I said, yeah, Chris. And they say, okay, Griff, no problem. And I said, no, 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 no. My name is Chris. And she goes, are you saying Grimst? Nope. And she goes, okay, let me grab my manager. I'm having a little trouble hearing you, sweetie. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get the manager. Hello? Yeah, I was just simply providing my name. Okay, yeah, sorry, she's new. Forgive us. What is your name for the order? Chris. Okay, Brax, no problem. We'll have that ready for you in about 35 minutes. No, no, no. Believe it or not, the name's not Brax. It's Chris. Okay, well, just let us, when you get here, just let us know what you ordered. We'll have it ready for you. We're not too busy right now. We shouldn't have trouble mixing up, Frimst. Oh, you think my name is Frimsed? Nope, just Chris. Okay, thanks. And then I go up and I get my Greek salads, and they say, okay, we got to order for Thraxmus here. And it's a problem, and it keeps being a problem. And you would think that the name Chris wouldn't cause so much confusion, eh? Yet here we are. Are you still aware of your breathing? I'll be honest, I'm sitting here and quite anxious today. Not sure what that's about. Like I said, a big drop off. Not feeling so good. And then it's just been kind of like rough. I just think, like, I don't know. All right, here's a question. I was planning on talking about this. And this is one you like maybe meditate on this one cuz the answer seems so simple. But I often wonder, do you control your thoughts, or is it the other way around? Do your thoughts control you? Big question, and I'm sure we're all like, oh, fuck, I control my thoughts? You kidding? I'm no weakling. And I beg to differ sometimes. I think at the very least, that first thought is a mother, isn't it? The first one, I think I have some say in what I then do with it. But man, sometimes, like, I don't know. It's like we go our whole lives. Sometimes we're an autopilot, right? That's fair. Sometimes we're an autopilot, and our thoughts are just thoughting and creating these. It's like when a bunch of people walk the same path on the grass. Eventually, it gets worn down to just dirt, and kind of similar to like a river where it builds these trenches. Like the longer you just let those go kind of unchecked, you're gonna believe them. And yeah, so I guess I've been getting a little bit beat up by my own thinking, but it'll stabilize. I know that. And I know some things that I can do to help. It's extreme. It's kind of extreme others, but I've never felt better in my brain when I ate meat and fruit only for like 60 days straight. It was a very hard time on paper, but my anxiety, this generalized anxiety disorder that I have that they give me pills for, I don't take the pills. I just kind of switch up what I eat. I had this experience. I saw a good pal of mine from Germany, and I went over to his house, and he's got 2 girls, little beautiful girls, but I had like 30% of his attention. You got little kids, and they're all running around. But I was chatting with his dad, and the idea that I do a podcast comes up, and I do one for work and at home just for fun, kind of as like a exercise to get better at it for work, whatever. And he asked me what my podcast was about, and then he said this. He goes, "Is it do you do a podcast? Is it like health and wellness? Because you work out, obviously." I've never been the "you work out, obviously" Guy? My friend's dad said, you work out, obviously? Uh? That kind of snapped me out of it. I was all in depressed mode. And he goes, well, because you work out, obviously. And I go, uh, do I? But I will say this. Yes. I've been putting in work, both in the kitchen and in the gym, in the P90X, and I'm not gonna. This is not a flex, but it is. I currently have visible abs while sitting down. No easy accomplishment, but guess what? Do they make me happy? No. In fact, now the thought of not having visible abs when I sit down just makes me sad. So you're getting the real deal today. I do this a lot. I'll have a thought come into my head and I'll be like, "Oh, I got to write that down. I'll forget about that." And then I'll be like, "Oh, this would make a good list." I'll do a header. I'll open up a notepad on my phone. I'll do the header because there's going to be a lot of things like this, and I'll list it, and I'll come up with a bunch of other ones. And then I have so many lists that I've started that have just one item on them. So, for example, here is the one I was referring to. Things to do for the first time. And on this list is see the Red Clay Strays live. And there's nothing else on that list because I forgot. And here's another list. Hot takes. And there's one item on this list, and that's that Jeff Daniels speech about America sucks. And then here's another list. I was going to do a segment called This or That, where I rapid fire ask people questions. This or that, and they got to answer quickly. And I actually have two items on this list, and it's LGB or QIA plus. And then the other item is Bob Marley or Bob Dylan. I'm going to go Bob Marley on that one. And then here's another list that I created with the intention of, it being a list of things. It says, what I learned this week / fun facts. And on this list, there's nothing. I started a list in hopes of learning something or having a fun fact, but I forgot. And it's blank now. So my question, and then here's another list, opening jokes, okay? And again, this list is blank. I got not a single opening joke for you or anyone else because I guess I like to make lists without anything on them. Just a blank list is what I'm into. One detail that I left out of a story that I told last week, I was telling this story about going down to kind of close to, it was in the sticks of Michigan, I don't know whether you call it downriver or like by Monroe. Uh, and so I'm driving down like 275 or I-75. Basically in Michigan, you see a lot of billboards for marijuana stores. And I look at them all and I go, huh. They are very discreet. And with weed being legal, why you gotta be so discreet? You'd think the best thing for somebody looking to buy weed would just be like, we got weed. You want weed? We got weed. But they don't do that. They say things like, buzz on by. Or like, open for rec, which is apparently short for recreational. Or they say, can a bust on over here? Or elevate your day. And I'm thinking, I ought to get into the weed billboard business because you don't need to be so discreet. It's legal now. So it defeats the purpose is what I'm trying to say. Are you aware of your breathing still? Nope, I'm not. Here we go. Long pause. My younger brother is also a YouTuber, and he's killing it. He's killing it on YouTube. If you're a gamer, if you like video games, check out it's called V Phantom, and he's closing in on 5K subscribers, and one of his long form videos just popped and got like 130K. So hats off to him. Very happy for him. But I gotta be honest, I came across it when I was in the depths of my self-pity and depression. So I said, that makes me feel like a fucking loser. But seriously, happy for him, sad for me. But one antidote for feeling sad or even angry or lost: gratitude. And I just like saying the word gratitude, it sparked something in me. And I was like, okay, am I aware of things I am grateful for? Am I going through my day taking for granted the fact that I have a vehicle to get to this job? Am I grateful that I have a job? Shit, am I grateful that I can bend down and tie my shoes? Oh, there's a thing. Taught my son Julian how to tie his shoes using the bunny ear method, an actual scene from the movie Big Daddy. And we've just been doing slip-ons and Velcro for the longest time. But, he wanted these shoes with laces. I go, all right, buddy, let's get down to business. Boom. Bunny ears. Nailed it. 3 times in a row. Awesome. Was I grateful or was I on my phone? I was grateful. But you know what? There's always like 2 sides to every shit. So I gotta admit, I have screwed up gratitude before. It's this weird thing. It's like, how do you screw up gratitude? Like, you sit and you just maybe make a list of 5 things every day. There's a challenge. 30 days, 40 days. Gratitude. Very, very powerful stuff. Breathing. Am I aware? Posture and breathing. How's my posture? Am I crooked like a question mark, like a Forrest Gump? Or am I sitting upright using physiology? Gratitude. I have tried to gratitude my way through unhealthy like work environments and even like relationships. Eh. So gratitude, very powerful, yes. Sitting, taking 5 minutes out of the day, thinking and feeling all these things focuses my attention on abundance rather than lack. Okay. Grateful for my marriage. Grateful for we got food in the fridge. Grateful for I'm in no physical pain. So many people woke up achy joints, migraines, pain everywhere. Jade Cargill from WWE, just huge laceration on her face. Maybe I'll throw that one up too. If you're squeamish, don't look. If you aren't, and you'll know how hard I tried when I edited if there's actually a photo up on your screen right now. If not, I forgot about it. Who cares? So yeah, just taking a moment of gratitude. And like I do this gratitude checklist. Like I try when I'm like standing in line at Aldi or the grocery store or in line at traffic, like, okay, everything in me wants to reach for my phone and scroll. Okay. Being bored is okay, right? I can be bored. Use this. Practice my patience. Practice my gratitude. What am I grateful for? Well, I'm standing in line at the grocery store. I'm not too concerned on if my card's going to get rejected. That's fucking cool. I'm standing in line at the grocery store. I don't have to choose between eggs and apples. No, I can get them both. That's cool. I know I've reached a position of being comfortable in my finances because if my card ever gets declined, I say, run it again. That's a Joe List joke. But gratitude. I had this interesting perspective on like times it has like worked against me. And I look back and I was just like in these like terrible work environments or relationships. And, I'm doing my gratitude thing. Okay, I get to go into work. I get a paycheck. I get health care. Never mind that my boss is a fucking psychopath and is the worst human I've ever met in my entire life. Never mind that. Never mind I go in and I absolutely hate doing what I'm doing and I'm miserable. Gratitude. So it goes back to that, like, accept what I cannot change, courage to change the things I can. And if I'm miserable, can I just gratitude my way through everything? I don't think so. I have to then take action and be like, can I throw out some job applications this week? Can I talk to some people and be like, hey, what are you doing? You looking for a guy like me? So basically what I'm trying to say is gratitude can be a very powerful tool in life, but it can also increase your tolerance for the unacceptable. That should be written on like a cloth, like a towel. Somebody should write that down on something. Gratitude is a powerful tool. I forgot what I said, but it was pretty good. Gratitude can increase your Gratitude is a powerful tool. Let me try again. Gratitude is a powerful tool, but gratitude can also increase your tolerance for the unacceptable. Boom! Write it down. Get a tattoo. Put it on a towel. I don't know why I keep coming back to towel. I watched this. It was a good movie. The Minecraft movie was so funny. We watched it yesterday. We did a little family movie night. And I know, big blockbuster. I'm not telling anything new. Like, whatever. Here's the thing. Liking popular things does not make you like a poser at all. I always kind of was like that. I was kind of hipster in that way where like, the Eminem released a new album. What are the best songs? Well, they're definitely not the ones that were played on the radio. They're the ones that like nobody knows about. The underground Eminem. My buddy Joe and I used to laugh at that all the time. So that was good. I highly recommend the Minecraft movie. It was family friendly. It was family friendly. How's your breath? It was family friendly, and it was very funny. There may have been they may have said hell or ass once or twice, but very funny stuff. Jason Momoa can do comedy. That was a shocker. Kind of like when Channing Tatum was in 21 and 22 Jump Street. It's like, yo, this dude is funny. Like, not just like well-written lines, like his timing and just how he carried himself. Super funny. And yeah, so I would recommend that movie. And if you want to so this one's a little dark and not happy, not family friendly. The Crime of the Century documentary on, I believe it's HBO Max. It's all about how they weaseled their way into this heroin epidemic that we're all experiencing, and everybody's dying because of, heroin and fentanyl. So that was uplifting. And basically, you come to me for the facts, and facts don't care about your feelings. And the Sackler family basically put thousands of salespeople behind their wonderful product, heroin, and sold it to everybody, and then everybody got addicted and died. And they made billions of dollars. And it's really cool because it shows you that if you have no soul and you get rich enough, you can just pay the politicians to change the laws for you so that you're good to go. And that's wonderful. And, you can say, I would say, other than the fact that it kills everybody and addicts everybody, my least favorite thing about OxyContin is that it's not pronounced Oxycontin. There are too many N's in there, and don't clip what I just said. Don't clip that. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Not so cool. Y'all gonna make me do it too. Jump in here. Not really good. Y'all gonna make me be so cool up in. That makes me laugh so goddamn hard when I sing lyrics to a popular rap song in an accent and pretend I'm like somebody who doesn't know the words. And just like makes them and think, y'all gonna make me be so cool up in here, not so good. Y'all gonna make me lose it too, jump in here, not so good. If I got to bring it to you cowards, you better be cool. Somebody doesn't speak English, like just heard that song like for the first time and singing along. Y'all gonna make me lose it too, be so good, not so cool. It's like singing it too. Y'all gonna make me be so good up in here, not so cool. Y'all gonna make me lose it too up in here. That's one of the funniest things I think I ever did as a person was when I was in New York City with my friends, and for some stupid reason, we were at one of the maybe Empire State Building, maybe Statue of Liberty. I don't know. I don't remember. But we were walking by like landmarks, and for whatever reason, I just go, dude, who is that statue of, dude? And we looked at it like, we were like, oh, that's gonna be something, and we just started laughing so hard, not because that itself is funny, but watching everyone's reactions to it And then oh my God, the whole trip, we just see something and it just be like, there had to be a group of people around and like, what do you think to yourself if you see a guy just point at, like, dude, look at that staircase, dude. Like, what the fuck is that? Where's that person from? The thing that they're super excited about isn't even a thing. It's like, are they Amish? Is that an Amish? Have you never seen a building before? Or are you Hispanic? What is that accent? Have you never used the word dude? Dude, who is that statue of dude? It's so fucking funny to me. Oh my God. Every time I think about it, it never lost its, there was no law of diminishing returns with that one. Dude, what is that video you're watching? Dude. Oh my God. Just remember that you are in the good old days is what I'm trying to tell you. I feel so much better. Wow. Wow, guys. Just doing this podcast and talking about bullshit is making me so happy. It's making me so happy. This made me happy too. Me and Julian, we played a little basketball this morning, and he's not bad. I'm going to be honest. Went to a soccer game yesterday. Not great. Not great. Played basketball? Not bad. Not bad? Why is not bad way better than not great? Never thought about that. They're both super fucking vague. It's just telling you what it's not. It could be anything. Could be a horse. Not bad. What I mean is horse. Not great. What I mean is clouds. It's not bad. That's technically not wrong. Not bad. But the soccer thing, it was kind of bullshit, dude. His team, clearly, all first graders and kindergartners. The other team had a kid that was like 6'4". And it's just like, oh, well, I didn't know adults could play in this league. What do you drink? What do you drink? Are you drinking raw milk? This kid is like 6'4", and he just was scoring at will. But I was so proud of Julian, and this isn't a knock on him. I was so proud of him because if you were watching that game as not one of the parents, he wouldn't have stuck out as a kid that doesn't really play soccer all that often. It's not soccer. I don't know if soccer's going to be a thing. Maybe he's going to take to it. It was only like his second or third game, but he didn't stand out. So I'm proud. And you know what? I am a participation trophy dad. Don't clip that. I'm not sure where I stand on that thing, but who cares? You know what? If you're the type of parent that's like, my kid is gonna be number one, we don't accept anything less than the best in this family, then you know what? You're probably a jack-off, and you're probably not too kind. You fuck. Yeah. And then if you're like me, I'm like, give the kid a sucker, man. He tried. He went out there. You know what? He got an hour of good exercise. It's going to make my job 5% easier. Give the kid what's the rib? Give him a ribbon. Maybe we do ribbon participation ribbons and first place trophies. Maybe that's the answer. You know, here's the thing I wrote down. Uh, if they do take away all the guns, imagine all the mass bows and arrows shootings. And that's actually kind of fun. That's funny. Like, okay, I'm not going to do the recent one because it's still fresh in everybody's mind. Just someone giving a speech and then and they just like they got an arrow, like an arrow straight through, straight through the neck or through the temples, and they just and then people just ride off in horses. And we've solved the gun crisis, but now there's a bows and arrows crisis on hand. We're not just using them for we're not just using them for hunting anymore. There are mass bows and arrows shootings, and the bows and arrows people are running amok, and it's a big problem. And I had that thought, and it was good enough for me to where I go, oh, I gotta write that down. And I have so many bullet points. You want to hear some more of them? No, they say. Okay. Okay. IMDb TV series cast. Because apparently I was looking up the cast of like Game of Thrones or something, and it annoyed me that there were so many people in the show, I had to scroll so far left. I'd be like, oh, who played Ned Stark? Pull up main cast, and you got to scroll so far. I scrolled so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Okay, I will probably end on this, but I might not keep this at all, because this one is really bad. Oh my God, I wrote this down. Okay. Oh, fuck.